Hey guys, Tyson here from relaxrunning.com. Welcome back to the Relax Running podcast. Really excited. We got a sub 60-minute man for the half marathon on the show today. The great man Brett Robinson. He is the talk of the town at the moment in the Aussie running scene, especially. He's just gone out and broke the Aussie half marathon record. It still baffles me how anyone can run 59 minutes and 57 seconds for a half marathon. Hey, with a wrong turn as well, mind you. He's just chucked in a little, I'm going to go the wrong way, and still break 60 minutes in there. So it was a really cool podcast, really cool chat. I went out to Newport and sat down with Brett and just asked him about, life on and off the track. And there's so many components to running that it never gets difficult, it never gets old just chatting, because each athlete's approach is slightly different. And man, this guy is he's got some range. I just saw he's ran 3:38 for 1500. He's an Olympic and World Championships finalist over 5K. He's run 13:15 over that distance. He's now added the Aussie half marathon record to his title, and he smacked out a 2-hour 10 marathon as well. So I wanted to just pick his brain about, what his training and everything like going into Tokyo this year. Hey, if you do enjoy this podcast, or you are a marathon runner or planning to run a marathon, we sat down and did a bonus podcast as well on how to improve your marathon performance, where we hit record and I asked him everything you could possibly ever need to know about improving your marathon. So that's available now for Relax Running members. If you want to get your hands on that, it's our first official bonus podcast episode. You can jump on to relaxrunning.com, hit membership, and you'll have access to that bonus episode. It's only $5 a month at the moment because it's a new membership. So it's cheap, and the podcast is, or the back catalogue of podcasts is building. So it's only going to get bigger and better. So if you want to jump on that right now while it's nice and cheap, head on over. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got to say. I'm going to get out of your way. This is me and the great man, the Aussie record holder over the half, Brett Robinson. She said my ears almost exploded, so I'm like, I'm gonna have to stop. All right, we'll get going. We got to talk about, first of all, what's on everyone's lips. Bloody, how do you run 59:57? That is the most disgusting run.
Yeah, I even surprised myself a little bit, I think, as well. Like, I thought maybe I could run in the 60s, but I just, to be honest, it was years of training, and then it actually just clicked at the time. I think there's been plenty of times I've been in great shape, but then the race isn't there, or you get bad conditions, or you have a bad day. But it was just that miracle day where I had, the 2 months before was near perfect training, like hadn't missed a beat. The day was perfect, the race was perfect. But then also before that, I had 3 marathon preps in my legs. So I think it's just all caught up to me, and I was just lucky enough that all fell into line.
Man, I deliberately haven't looked too far into it because I thought I just want to ask you questions that I find interesting about it. But so you were in Japan,
yep.
And the only footage I've seen of the race is you taking a wrong turn. And I mentioned this to you before we hit record. But so when I heard that, I thought, are you kidding me? Like, that's surely at least the momentum that you lose through something like that. It's got to be 10 seconds. But you reckon, what, only a couple maybe?
Yeah. It was 500 metres to go, and it was just this windy section of the road where I was actually really close to the bike because they couldn't really get away from me. And then it came to a kind of fork in the road, and they were supposed to go right and I was supposed to go left, but I couldn't see. And I actually thought in my head, I'm like, I hope I'm supposed to be going right here. And I've just taken it. And then I just hear them like yelling at me. And so I just straight away turned and like actually kind of like cut through a crowd and got straight back onto the course. So it cost me maybe a second, but yeah, the worst thing was like all of a sudden I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh no, like I knew I was about running 60-minute pace. I'm like, am I not going to break it? Like, am I going to miss the Australian record here because of this? Like, it's just so like stupid. And then I'm just like, no, just go. Like, it kind of, spiked my adrenaline, I guess, but freaked me out at the same time.
Yeah. So going into the race, like you had one eye on the Australian. Was it Mona's record?
No, Darren Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah. So Mona was second fastest, 60.06 or 60.05, I think. But to be honest, I wasn't really thinking about the Australian record. I was going into it thinking, let's just run a good race, not worry about time. Like a lot of time I go in targeting times, pushing when I don't need to be. I'm like, let's just sit in and try to execute a good race and be coming home strong. But then I knew like through the race I was actually going we were running pretty fast, and I remember thinking at about 13k, you can see the car with the clock, and I'm like, yeah, it's only like it must have been about 38 minutes, wherever that was in the race, and I'm like, yeah, it's only like 20 minutes to go, 20 minutes to go, and I'm like, usually if you're thinking 21 minutes, you're like, oh, it's a long way, but when I'm thinking, oh yeah, only 21 minutes, I'm like, yeah, I'm on for a good day here, like, but I think we're gonna run all right, so that's when I'm like starting to think, all right, now let's work out how to try to win. So I think even for the most part, knew I was running fast, but I'm like, I just want to win this race. Like, if I win it in 60-20 or 60-30, that's fine. I'd rather not lose. So the time didn't matter to me. But obviously now, I'm looking back, like, I love that I got a 59 PB. But yeah.
I was trying to do the maths on it the other day. So what? Like, I don't know. Was it a negative split? Like, how much faster did you? What was the first 10k compared to like the?
It was pretty even. I think I ran. So I went like in 5k splits, 14-12, 14-13, 14-12, 14-09. So yeah, I think that 15k to 20k was a little slight uphill. So maybe it probably was a negative split in effort, but yeah.
Bloody hell, man! That is just those numbers. Like, does that sort of trip you out? Because it's funny when you talk to an elite athlete like yourself. People go, oh man, like I just can't imagine running that fast. But like you've been a junior runner, does it sort of trip you out when you think about those numbers?
Yeah, well, I remember back in the day, like I would look at who held the world record from Eritrea? Oh, he used to be
Tedesse. Yeah.
So I remember looking at his splits, and I'm just like, that's ridiculous. Like that's just stupid. And the record was probably 58:40 or something like that. And I was like a kid. I'm like, I can't run that pace for 3k, and I couldn't even go close. So at the time I was always looking at those. But then I guess as you progress, you just kind of do it, and then you're like, you don't think much of it. So I don't know. But I guess before the weekend, if I looked at running 250s for 21k, I'd be like, that's crazy. But then I did it, so I'm like, oh, I guess you just do it.
There's only one thing I reckon you can do better again. We got to get your Instagram fired back up again and start throwing out some. I got my favourite runner to follow, because no one talks enough smack in the running scene. And what I love about I don't know if you're into the boxing or UFC, but what I love so much about that scene is that there's a little bit of heat thrown around.
Yeah.
And I used to love what my favourite one of your quotes was. I reckon it was when you won City Debate in Adelaide, and it was back when Winks was the. It was horse. And
Winks of running.
And I was high-fiving. We need some more of this.
Yeah.
I've noticed, I think your last post was just a request for Carlton Draft to sponsor you. Have you had any feedback on that?
No, I had a few guys actually messaging me and that knew people, and they were like tagging people that worked there. But no, I had nothing. I thought maybe I'd at least get a case of beer out of it or something. But yeah, I always usually enjoy just like joking around a little bit on social media. I think but people either love it or they hate it at the same time. But it doesn't really bother me if they don't like it, because the people that know me know I'm joking around at the same time. So, and that's the people I care about, how they think about me. So
it's so true. It's so true. And it's one of those sports, man. Like we all know in the distance running scene, it's not the most glamorous sport, really. So if someone has a little bit of swagger, like come on, we got to cheer him on. I was watching I love watching Mike Tyson highlights and stuff like that, and just the amount of smack that it wasn't even smack with him though. It was just like, there's a good chance I'll kill you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I watched his and and he was actually like angry and wanted to actually hurt people. But I guess I want to hurt people with running. But
100%. So in this race that you were running, who were you up against? Like, was it a predominantly Japanese field? Or
no. So there was so guy came second was Japanese here in 60:00 or 60:01, and that was a Japanese record.
Can't even break 60.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And then Callum Hawkins, the Scottish marathon runner, who has won that race, and he's run 60:00 twice, and then he ran 60:01 in that race. And there was a couple of Kenyans that were a little bit back, but yeah, it was a lot Japanese, and then like me and Callum.
Yeah, it's been interesting watching your career as well, man. Like, I don't know, this will test your memory a little bit. Do you remember the first time we ever met? I won't be offended.
I'll remember once you tell me.
It was in Canberra, and I reckon it was 2011.
Yeah, there's a coffee.
Yes, and with Caleb Simons.
Yeah,
so were you trained by Dick up there at that stage?
No, I was trained by Phil Saunders.
Okay.
Yeah, but then I think Hale would have been trained by Philo at that time as well.
I think he was, actually.
Yeah. So he I think went between Dick and Philo a little bit, but yeah, I was mates with Kale and we used to get coffee. I remember you came. It might have been before cross country nationals.
Well, I reckon there was cross country nationals taking place up there, and it's I was just thinking coming into this chat, I was like, it's funny, like your careers. You've taken a few interesting turns in terms of like the events that you've run, because I reckon you had a dabble at steeple for a couple of years there. So how did you find yourself? But then you can't really just call yourself a road runner, right? Because you made an Olympic final. A 5K Olympic final?
Yeah.
Like where do you? It's funny when you've got so many options in the sport to know where to direct your sort of attention. Like where are you at the moment in terms of what you want to run? Because mate, if I had your talent, I'd be like the best kind of confused as to where to focus.
I definitely like my focus right now is road running. The track still interests me, but I just, to be honest, road running is what I like doing right now, and I enjoy that a lot more at the moment for sure.
And some nicer money in road running.
Exactly. Like if you can be good at it, but it's very tough at the moment as well. Like you have a lot of Africans just going straight there and skipping the track now, so it's a lot more competitive. It has got a lot more competitive recently.
Yeah, because in the track scene, it's more if you want to make some money, you got to be out running diamond leagues, and things like that. But you would have pocketed a nice little bit of prize money in Japan, did you?
Yeah. It's I think that race wasn't. It's not huge prize money, but it's good. Like the same as kind of like a Melbourne half marathon or something like that. But,
did Nike give you little perks and stuff as well as a bonus for breaking Aussie records?
There's things like that. For breaking Aussie records, there's bonuses. But,
Yeah,
it's not a glamorous sport though. But
so with road running as the main feature, obviously you're looking at Tokyo then.
So the marathon. So that's what I'm hoping to do. We're going to see how the next months play out, but I'm not running another marathon before then. So that's my main focus.
Beautiful. So how's Big Jack going at the moment? Because I know did he have a stressy or something going on?
So Jack had a stressy in his back that he got pretty much during New York Marathon. That was the first time he felt it, and then it was actually running 42k on a broken back isn't pretty good for it. So he has taken a while to kind of recover, but he's back running now. I run him this week a few times, and slowly he's getting fit. So I don't think it'll take him too long. He's very naturally talented. He's now in a little bit of a danger spot because obviously Liam Adams ran 2:10:48 I think yesterday, so he's the number one guy, and then I'm in second and Jack's in third time wise, and then so if someone else was to come along, it could put Jack in a bit of danger. But
so who we got Benny Saint as well.
Benny ran yesterday, but he had a bit of a shocker.
What did he run?
2:28.
Yeah, okay.
So he
blew up.
Yeah, I haven't spoken to him, but apparently, the wheels fell off, and I seen a video of him running down the straight, and it wasn't pretty. But Harry Summers is training in Kenya, and he's getting ready for one. So that's a bit of danger. Which I don't know. Jack's in a bit of a hard position because he's like not fit enough to race at the moment, and so he's just kind of a bit helpless. But the thing is, by August, like when the Olympic marathon's on, he'll be flying. So.
Yeah. So how does it work with the marathon? Because I've spoken to a few people and they've tried to explain a little bit to me about how the qualifying process works. And bro, I just zone out. I find the whole process so boring. But I love the way the Americans do it. It's like, all right, you're top 3. All right, go to the Olympics.
Yeah. So America has such good depth that they have a trial.
Yeah.
And then also their depth is, because it's that good, they get special permission, so does Japan, that their trial is a gold label event. And if you get top 3 in that, it means no matter what time, you can run 2:20 and win it. That is a qualifier for the Olympics. So that's why the top 3 go. But yeah, for us, I guess it's up to selectors. We're assuming they do it on time. I don't know.
Yeah.
They could do it other way, but the time's 2:11:30. So at the moment, we've got 3 guys under that. So whoever, if there's a 4th, then the selectors have to make a decision. But at the moment, it's just the 3.
Yeah. Okay. So what have you run? What's your
2:10:55?
You run 2:10 as well.
Yeah.
Holy
and
crap, bro!
Jack is 2:11:06. So we've got 3 guys within like 18 seconds.
It's so funny being older, man. Like I'm 32 now, and I remember once I met Lee Troop, and Lee had just run I think he had just done like a 2-hour 12 marathon.
Yeah.
And I saw him at like a local run, and I got so intimidated just meeting him because I was like, this guy's done 2:10. That's crazy being
2:09 he's done.
Has he done 2:09?
Yeah.
Yeah, fire it. Well, mate, you must be. It's funny. I was having a chat with a bloke I do the podcast with a little bit here, and I was saying I'm so excited to watch you hopefully nail a marathon in the next. Well, I'm sure you'll nail one, but just which one it's going to be.
Yeah.
But what are the like with a 59 half under your belt? Like, what do you like? What would you estimate, or what would you guess if you nailed a marathon you could hit?
To be honest, I think I could run 2:07.
Yeah.
Like fairly soon. The guy that actually came second at Maragami ran 2:07 last week. But like obviously that doesn't mean that I'm going to run 2:07. But I felt like I've definitely been in that shape. But I just haven't nailed the marathon yet, and I think I'm learning a lot. But yeah, I reckon I can run 2:07 if I was to run one.
So how many marathons have you run?
So I DNF'd my first one, which was in Fukuoka, and then I ran 2:10 in my second, and then I ran New York, and I had a bad race.
But New York was a funny one as well. It's been interesting. I was having to listen to a couple of the running podcasts where they were like closer to the time. They were speaking about it. Like the Inside Running Boys had a good chat, and it was interesting just to hear the different perspectives that there were. But it was a race where it seemed like you were approaching it with the mindset of like I'm here to race.
Yeah.
And like it seems to me from my racing experience, it's very different when you go up to a race. You know, all right, I'm here to race and just see what I can do. Then, all right, I'm going to go out conservatively and just try and run a time.
Yeah.
Is that sort of like what you took away from it, or where was your head after that?
Yeah,
race?
so it definitely. So I would say if I go through my marathons, Fukuoka was one where it was my first one, and I thought I can run. I thought I would run under 2:10 in my first one, to be honest. And I went in there looking at the time and then chasing it, and I just didn't really have the background in my legs, and my legs fell apart. London got into it. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to race this one. I'm going to go with guys that I think I should be around, and then try to get it in that competitive mind and race them to the finish and keep them and keep in the competition. And that I reckon worked better for me. And then New York again was the same because of the hills and stuff like that. It was all right. Let's just think about the race, and that's what I did at Maragami as well. So I think I'm better when I go, all right, let's just get into a challenge here and try to beat whoever I can. And I think when I worry about the time, I'm just not racing properly.
It's interesting. I've only I shouldn't even really have this conversation because I ran one marathon, and like I love the fact that Benny. I don't love the fact he blew up, but I love the fact he blew up around 2:28.
Yeah,
it was so embarrassing, man. So I going into this marathon a year and a half ago. I got a running background, and I know people like you, and I would listen to people like you speaking about the training and stuff that goes into it. And I'm like, okay, so the long run's the important thing. I'm like, bro, like I'm pretty fit. I got good speed. I'm sure I'll be fine. So I did my longest run was 30K.
Yeah.
And then most of them were like 25. But I was like, I think I'm sweet. And man, we went through the first half I just wanted to break 3 hours originally. And I was training with Mottram's group. And do you know Zach Newman? Yeah, Zach Newman was like, mate, you're actually pretty fit. I was like, yeah, I am actually, aren't I? He's like, yeah, you're looking good. He's like, maybe you should up your standard. I was like, okay, maybe I could run 240.
Yeah.
And just take 20 minutes off. Anyway, so I went out with that mindset, went through an hour 19, and I was like, I think I'm back. Like, I'm a distance runner. Like I've been playing footy and just chilling out, going to the gym for the last couple of years. So that's what I needed, mate. This is the start. And then that was at 21K. 22K, I was like, I'm in so much trouble. So it's a weird event, like when it comes to the mental side of it as well.
Yeah.
Like I got a little glimpse into it, but the idea of racing a marathon against the best guys in the world are there certain strategies and things that you're doing in your mind, whether like maybe subconsciously that you've just adapted that help you deal with the sort of challenge that you're about to face in those races?
Well, during the race, I'm really good at switching off. So I pretty much take myself to another place. Like at London Marathon, I can barely remember any of the race because I just pretty much just thought about other things and really tried to put myself in another place. So that's kind of how I deal with it. And then just at least if I can do that for as long as possible, and then hopefully I get to like 30K and I'm like, all right, now let's work out what to do for this last bit and like where to dig deep.
Yeah. So when you say put yourself in another place, what is that? Is that something that you've had to develop, or you just do it naturally?
I don't know why. I think it's something with massages. I remember I had osteitis pubis pretty much a year ago, and I would go and see Andrew White for massages, and he's like doing this thing around my in my adductors, and it was like the most painful thing, and I was just like It's like there's this movie Happy Gilmore about golf, and he used to talk about going to his happy place. I would like talk about my happy place, and so I just like close my eyes and just like think about like good memories or like times with my friends or something like that, and just like that's what I'd think about, and that's how I deal with the pain. And then so in the marathon, that's what I do as well. Like, or in races, I just think about happy things pretty much. Like anything that is like a happy thought is I just try to think of them for as long as possible.
That's so funny, man. So that's something that and I've heard Andrew White is a brutal massage therapist as well.
And he's just like, he'll be like, you've been in so much pain, and he's just there with a blank face, like not caring. And I'm just like, come on, like no compassion on him, like. Yeah,
it's fun. So, would you say you got a bit of a reputation for being that bloke? I'd put Nate Harding in that same category. I don't know if he goes to a happy place or if he just goes to. I'm gonna for any listeners overseas. Nate Hardigan's a Ballarat boy that we both had a little bit to do with. Me probably longer ago than you, but I remember once Mottram came up to Ballarat and he was pretty he was getting fit. It must have been like 2007. I was so intimidating because it was Craig Mottram. I was 20 years old. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I remember him putting in like a little surge up one of the hills. And Nate's supposed to be king of the hills.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget like running alongside Nate, and pardon my French, but Nate's yelling out, "Fuck you, Mottram!" Like he's supposed to be just the man. And but I've been on a few runs with Nate where I've wanted to yell out the same things. Mate, when he turns it on, like speaking of a bloke who gets the most out of his talent, it's pretty incredible. And I find it interesting. Do you remember there was a bloke called Matt Bailey back in the day? Yeah. Matt Bailey was like that as well. Whenever I saw him on a start line, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be a hard office."
I think there's a lot of people. I think I'm probably one of those people as well that I'm never going to make a race easy. I'm never going to go wait till a kick finish or anything like that. So I'm always going to push harder. I remember with Nate Hardigan, like when I lived in Ballarat, we'd do Mount Buninyong. So it's just like 6 or so K straight up a hill, up a mountain. And then the first mile is just straight up this highway. And it's like me, Ryan Gregson, like Coles Birmingham all turning up. And Nate is smacking us up this first hill. And we're just like, oh my God. He's like, no, I'm king of this mountain. I don't care. I will bury myself for the whole week. That was just Nate.
Oh, he's so funny. Yeah, he does have a reputation. Like the steeper the hill, the more scared you should be. I still laugh listening to the Inside Running boys talk about going for a run with him because he sounds like him and Ash Watson. It's that Ballarat air. I swear, there's something in that Ballarat air that just makes you want to run faster.
Some of my toughest runs, I reckon, have been through those forests out there. Like, it's tough running anyway, and then it's just relentless pace.
So what were you doing there? What made you move to Ballarat?
So in 2012, I went to overseas with Ryan Gregson, and then I actually got injured. I got a stress fracture in my hip and came home. And then after the European season, Ryan messaged me. He's like, "Oh, I'm thinking of moving to Ballarat to live with Collis. Do you want to come down for a few weeks, like while I'm settling in?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sounds good. Like 2-week training camp, good for me." And then he goes, "If you like it, you can move down." And I'm like, "You know what? I'm just going to move down. Like if I want to be a good runner, it's probably the best place for me." So I moved in with Ryan and Collis, and I spent 2 years there. And so I wasn't like my PB at that time was 13:40. I'd run, and then the next year I made World Champs final. It was like 10 months of being there, and I ran 13:18. Yeah, went to World Champs, made the final.
So what happened? Like what? Obviously, I was speaking to Jen last week. That's Ryan's wife. For those of you who didn't know that, and she was telling me one thing about just being married to Ryan. It's just the professionalism that he just he implement. I'm gonna reach out to him, try and get him on here soon. But he's just so professional in the way that he goes about things. And I don't know. I haven't seen Cole for years, to be honest. But I can imagine he would have been the kind of bloke who just got what he needed to get done as well. Was that the big standout thing that changed?
Definitely. So I was living in Canberra. I had a good group there. Like I was training with Marty Dent, who had just been to the Olympics for the marathon, and then like Philo, who was running low 340s, 1500. So I had a good group there, but they had families, they had their jobs and stuff like that, and I was trying to be a professional athlete, but kind of not with a group that had other things in their life. And then so I moved down with Ryan and Collis, and they were like the top of Australia, like even top of the world. So I could then be in a professional group, and then I could just pretty much I followed Collis around. Whatever he did, I did just for a year. And when he ran, I ran. I just ran the same pace as him. Like I would eat like he would eat. He was just I reckon I was an easy student, but he was a great teacher for me. but yeah, you think about that, the professionalism. It's just like you're doing everything possible day in, day out, and every run had a meaning for it. It's just you're not wasting any opportunity to get fitter.
Yeah, what I always find it so interesting chatting with top athletes and just finding out like the other areas of training and stuff that you're really focusing on. So like obviously, so running's like the core ingredient.
Yeah.
But when you say like the little 1%, so what are a couple of those things to you? Running a recovery diet.
Yeah. So like obviously I've got my recovery pants sitting on the couch just there.
Dude.
Yeah.
I thought that was a fireman's suit. I think I had some party going on last night.
Like compression pants.
Wow.
Because you can't see them, but
what do they do?
So they're like there's a brand called Normatec. I don't know. Yeah, which they're like really expensive ones. So my ones are just cheap ones, but they pretty much just blow up and they compress your legs, and it's just like gives your legs a flush. It's not as good as a massage, but it's something you can do every night. You do it all day if you want, and it's just easy to do while you're watching TV.
Mate, that's a serious couch as well that you got there.
Yeah, it's a good couch.
For those of you who can't obviously see it, it's probably the size of a king size bed.
Yeah,
beautiful, man.
Yeah, it's good to sleep on. I had Kevin Batt come down and train with me for 2 weeks, and he slept there the whole time. So it's good. Recovery obviously, but then gym and just like those things as well. And I think a lot of people just like roll out for a run where I'm probably doing like 15, 20 minutes of activations and stuff before my run, and then straight away like making sure you're getting in the protein.
What's the activation? Sorry?
Like say glute activation, and stuff like that. Just little things to make sure my body's ready. Like I'm trying to run sometimes 200k a week, so it gets pretty beat up and pretty sore. So they're things I actually need to do. Otherwise, I kind of hobble around for a good 15, 20 minutes before it warms up. So, and like Ryan Gregson, like he's another level as well. Like he'll do even more, probably 30 minutes of activation. Like he's crazy like that. And but it's just things you need to do. Like we're putting our bodies through a lot, so it's making sure that it's ready to do what we're asking of it.
Yeah, so they're just like a couple of little strategies. Like you both had, like most runners, had a few run-ins with injuries.
Yeah.
And that's just been sort of, I guess you've been incentivized to try and do the even smaller things.
I just found that like from each injury kind of picked up like a few little things from it, and I've just kind of made this small little routine that probably takes like 10 minutes in the morning, that just kind of getting kind of my Achilles good and my like glutes like fired and stuff like that, and just being like making sure I'm nice and loose and not stiff when I do step out the door and start running.
How do you find it in the morning? Like when you get out of bed, how's the body? Is it a bit creaky?
It's pretty stiff. Like both my Achilles and my planters are pretty stiff. Like they have been for years really, but nothing too bad. Like I usually just put on shoes straight away, and
as soon as you get out of bed.
It at least like slides, and I find that helps for some reason. I'm not sure why, but if I walk around barefoot, it kind of it's a bit sore and it takes a bit to warm up. But if I put shoes on, I don't know why, it just supports them, I guess.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, if the worst thing for me is if I like have to run it early for some reason, like if I got a flight and like I'm getting up at 6:30 and running at 7, like I will be in pain for the whole run. But so I kind of make sure I get up like 90 minutes before I run.
Yeah.
So that's another thing.
Yeah, man, I know we're going to do like a little bonus feature after this where we get like really into the nitty gritty of your training, but I'm just interested in like to hit 200 Ks a week.
Yeah.
How like what does that look like during a week of training? So for your long run, what do you like? Give us a bit of an overview of what a week of training, just on an average.
Yeah.
Actually, don't give us an average. Give us a good Robbo week.
My best ever days. Yeah. It's like when
everyone can just go and smash themselves trying to.
It's like when you see sometimes online, it's like this is like a typical week. So it's like they put in their best ever Monday, their best ever Tuesday. But it's like they just picked and choose from all around. But so for me, a standard in marathon training, like at the moment I'm doing that, I'm doing probably about 170 or maybe a little bit more Ks a week. And then when I'm doing actual marathon stuff, that'll be more. So in marathon training, a Monday would just be like 60 in the morning, close 35 to 40 minutes in the evening. Then a Tuesday would just be a typical session actually is like just an 8 by K or 5 by mile, something like that. And getting a little bit of quicker than marathon stuff. So I'll be like 255s or a bit under. and then again another 35 or so in the evening. Wednesday 60, 35. Thursday, so that's my main marathon session. So it'll be something like could be like 5K warm up, and then say 4x5K. Like with a minute or two jog between, and that's at marathon pace, and then another 5K warm down. So I'm getting like over 30K of running, and then 20K of it's at marathon pace. Then that evening I'll go out for probably another 35 minutes. So that's a big day. Like, yeah, there's even some days where it can be a little bit bigger. You get over 40K in a day, and then Friday back to just 60, 35s. There's my recovery day, so they're as easy as I need.
Are you on Strava?
Yeah, but so my marathon stuff, I put up everything, but I don't always upload. I don't always wear a watch, to be honest, because I just get too caught up in following it.
That's interesting, man. So Stuart McSwain, when I caught up with him a while ago, he was saying the same thing, and I think it's I'm a big fan of it. Actually, I was talking about this on a podcast I was on this morning, and like I find this. I'm training for the Melbourne Marathon this year. Trying to get that third spot on the Olympic team. And
it's after the
Olympics. Damn, I was making sure you paid attention. You passed that test. The 2024.
Yeah.
And what was I saying? What was I telling you?
Strava.
Yeah, that's right. Man, I'll go out for a Sunday long run, and I'll think I'm a hero on a Sunday if I'm like averaging 4:30s, 4:35s or whatever. Then I go out on a Monday, just where my legs are still a bit beat up from the day before, like struggling to break 5:10s. And it's so easy, like whichever side of the spectrum, whether you're like, oh man, look how fast you're running, oh no, look how slow. It does play on your mind a little bit. Like I encourage a lot of the people on the relaxed running members to keep it at home from time to time. So that's something that you're consciously doing.
Yeah, so I pretty much, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I run an hour and I do the exact same loop. So I'll just don't wear a watch. Like I know it's going to be either somewhere between 58 or 62 minutes. Like it doesn't bother me at all. And it's like, it's fun. Yeah, everyone's different. Like Jack Rayner loves it, but for me,
I've seen he's got a good little profile on there.
Yeah. But and like my evening run, I've got either, if I'm tired, I've got a pole that I run out to, and it'll be like maybe like 33 minutes. If I'm feeling okay, I'll run another 2 minutes, and it's like 35, 36 minutes. So that's just, I just like that relaxed way of doing it. And then because I just look at my watch. I'm like I'm averaging 404s. I'll just go a little bit and make sure it's 4 flat or something like that. It's just like, what's the point? Even yesterday, I wore my watch from around 34K, and I wore my watch. I knew we were running fast, and I'm just like, I might as well just keep running fast because it'd be like a nice 3:45 average, and it'll look good on Strava. And I was like, what's the point? Like, it means nothing in the end. Like you just. Yeah, just because it's on Strava doesn't mean you got extra work out of it. But
that's such a good point.
Yeah,
that's such a good point. So who are you running 3:45s with him?
Yeah, so
obviously the MTC.
No, I just ran from my house. I don't know. We don't always meet up for long runs because just everyone likes to do their own little different kind of long runs. And obviously because I'm doing the marathon stuff, like. I kind of, Shuey doesn't want to run as fast as I'm doing, but I remember Ryan Geard yesterday. He lives just around the corner from me, but he's the one that pushes the pace. It's not me, but I'm like, I've got a race coming up, so I'm like, I can do with a bit of extra fitness. I'll just go with it. But he actually got to about 26 or so K, and he started to get pretty tired. So, and then the first exit back to his house he took. So. I reckon I took the win yesterday.
So he's training for a couple of marathons himself, isn't he?
Yeah, so I think he's planning to do one later in the year. So he's just kind of building a good base, and then I think in September he's doing a marathon.
And what's your plans from here? So obviously the Olympics at the end of or later in the year.
Yeah.
But before then, you're going to have a few races of shorter distances than the marathon.
Yeah. So I was supposed to be doing World Half Marathon, which is. Was on the 29th of March, but it got cancelled because of this coronavirus. Postponed till October. So that's kind of thrown that out. And I was going to Europe for that. Now I'm down to run Prague Half Marathon, which is the same weekend, so 28th of March. But I'm just still waiting to see what happens with that. Like a lot of things are getting cancelled right now, so hopefully that doesn't get cancelled because it's like a really fast one. So I'd like to run another good half marathon, and I know I'm pretty fit right now. And then I'm pacing London Marathon.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. So,
dude, mate, I've heard that's going to be a hot one this year.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be going that pace. You got Bikili and Kipchoge going for something fast, I think. But I'm going to probably pace the Olympic qualifying pace, so like 2:11 or so pace, and that'll be good like training on for me, without absolutely smashing my body. Like I kind of wanted to run a marathon, but Nick just thought it'd be better if I could train for one, or like do some of the training for one, run to 30k, and then not have to take a month of recovering. Like now, I'll just like be fine to train a week or two later, and I can also practice marathon running.
So in a situation like that, would you approach that particular, even though you're pacing, would you approach it as though you're sort of racing in terms of the prep with your food and everything?
Definitely I will, because like I think if you're putting your body under stress for 30k, you still need to think about those things. And I have a job to do, so I don't want to be getting problems because I haven't been doing what I'm supposed to be doing for the race. But I'm going to treat. So the main focus is now this half marathon, and then I got after that 4 weeks. So those 4 weeks will be like doing marathon things, getting ready for the pace job. I reckon I'll taper for it, and I'll eat like I would for a marathon race.
Yeah, is your diet something you're pretty focused on, precautious? It's so interesting, man. I was talking to Jordan Guzman, and he was telling me that it's something he's quite. I just assumed every distance runner was skinny as a result of, even though I've been in the sport for so long. I just assumed, I was pretty skinny because I was a runner, but I didn't know there was extra effort being put into it. And I used to live with Joel Birmingham, and so Collis's brother. And I remember years ago, Joel goes to me, he's like, "Mate, you eat too much for a runner." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, your legs are a bit too fat." And I was like, "Oh, bro, like I'm really." And he's like, "Yeah, why don't you just try backing it off a bit?" And I was like, "Holy crap! Like I can't believe he's saying this." And then Jordy Guzman was saying, "Yeah, I'm quite cautious of the food and stuff that I eat, but like I know there seems to be like a bit of a, not for all female runners, but there seems to be a big comparison between like that you can almost take it too far, like the obsessive nature of your eating."
I don't think it's just females either. I think it's males as well.
Well, interesting. Yeah.
Wow. I think definitely in my last career, I've had definitely times where I haven't been eating enough. And just because like I thought I was eating, say, clean or stuff like that, but I reckon I just wasn't fueling my body enough. I would say that's where most of my injuries have come from being underweight or just not recovering as well. Definitely in the last few years, I've eat a lot more. Being around Stewie and Matt Ramsden is kind of, they are machines.
In terms of how much they get
They
through.
can just put down food. It is crazy. Like, it's funny. Like, Stewie, we go, like, in London, we live next to a pub, and like sometimes we go in there and they like have these like lasagnas that they make, and he'll like go in, order 2 of them, and then like get a garlic bread and like a salad on the side, and it's just like, and it was just like, he'll do it no worries, so then go back and have like a bowl of cereal. But like, we are running a lot, and I think we need fuel. I do think a lot of people try to eat clean and stuff like that, but end up missing out on calories that they actually need. It was funny. I went to the VIS dietitian a couple of weeks ago just because I want to like get a bit better plan for my marathon stuff. And I had to do a food diary, and like it was just kind of, I didn't realize I do it a lot. And then when I looked at it, I'm like, she would be looking at this and think I'm taking the piss. Like I'm eating bowls of like Cocoa Pops, and like it's like I say I eat healthy, but like I definitely snack and enjoy my stuff as well. And I wouldn't be as lean as I used to be, but I think I'm running better. So
interesting, man. I was laughing. I looked at, I don't know who. Does Liam have a girlfriend?
Liam Adams?
Yeah.
Yep.
What's her name?
Charlotte?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I follow her on the Relax Running page, and I was scrolling through a feed yesterday, and I saw, it was like the top photo, and it was a photo of him finishing.
Oh yeah,
and it was like he can run and can eat macas, and there was like sundaes and cokes and burgers and wrappers.
I think Liam maybe goes a bit too far. I've heard he does. He'll finish a long run and just eat like a big pie and some coke, but it's like, I have no problem with enjoying yourself, and if you need food, you need food. Like I do. If I'm sometimes hungry, I'll be driving past KFC. I definitely at least once a week will drive in and get a drive through KFC because I just feel like sometimes I need it. yeah, I have these big days. Like on a Thursday, I'll go run like a 12K threshold, and then I'll have to go for a massage, and then I'll go gym, and I'm just like, I guess like, and then I've got to run in the afternoon again. I'm just like, I'm starving. Like it's going to be a half an hour till I get home. I'm like, I'm just going to eat some KFC. So and I don't think it's the worst thing. Like it's not the best.
The Australian record. It's so funny the amount of junior athletes that are going to go out this week on a Thursday and order KFC and expect to run 60 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm going to get it on the way home.
I know I had KFC on the Thursday before I ran sub 60 on the Sunday. So,
is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I love this. That's so funny. It's like I'm such a nerd, like in the running scene, that I still get excited hearing these stories. And it's like it's the Usain Bolt stories as well.
Yeah,
he's obviously he's not running as far as you, but just the nuggets before his 100-meter race in Beijing and things like that.
I think I always do make sure like my dinners are always good. Like I always have like a good amount of carbs, like a good protein and some vegetables. And I think that's what I learned from Coles as well. I'd say he eats similar to me. Like, yeah, our meals were always very good. It's just that stuff in between that isn't always say perfect, but it's you need the fuel as well. I'd say it's better than not having something because you're trying to cut weight or stay lean.
Yeah, man. So what's like an average meal here at the Robbo house? So you're cooking for yourself, obviously.
Yeah.
Mate, the ladies are going to go wild when they find out you're single.
Yeah, I'm a great cook. Like I eat a lot of rice. Or like say risotto. I make a risotto a fair bit. So like a chicken mushroom risotto. And then probably like a salad with rocket and cucumber or something like that. Just like basic, but I feel like it's got the things I need.
Yeah, awesome, man. And like as I walked in, I couldn't help but notice your Xbox controller on the couch over there. So I was going to ask you about the little things that you do to switch off from running, which is it's weird, man. Like I'm interested to hear your perspective because it is an all-encompassing sport. But at the end of the day, it's something you might spend like a max of 4 hours. Like by the time you've done your long run, by the time you've done your gym or your stretching, it's like you've got 20 other hours to deal with, 8 of which you'll sleep. So like, what do you do with yourself when you're not running? May I just say to the listeners, it's a cool little part of town that you're in. Where are we right now?
Newport.
So this is Newport.
Yeah.
I was driving out here and I was like, bro, I told you I rocked up at some random, like, it was just an industrial estate. I was like, man, where is Robbo? and then I drove out here and I thought, it's going to be quiet. Mate, there's hipsters drinking coffee on the corner. What's it, Pingo?
Pango, yeah. Yeah, that's my favourite cafe. So.
That's cool. I thought, I know, it's a strategic purchase by you.
It's a good location here. Like, we're actually pretty close to the water, and we got Williamstown. Should say that's what. If people ask where I live, I usually say, "Do you know Newport?" They're like, "No." I'm like, "Do you know Williamstown?" I'm like, yeah. So it's just there. But it's what I do during the day. Just before you got here, I was watching this Netflix. I've been watching this Formula One show that's on. So
what is that a series or?
It's a series. So I don't know. Everyone just started watching it apparently, but it's been out for a while. But I think the second season just came out before because of Grand Prix coming up. But it's it's good. So I've just been watching that, trying to punch that out as quick as possible before it starts. But and then I don't know. I like hang out. Like Jack Rayner comes around, we just hang out. We like go to the cafe. But most of it is like we obviously like train hard in the morning and train hard at night. But in between, it's trying to recover and not do too much. Like I'll usually have a nap during the day as well, and
Do you get bored, or do you really enjoy the lifestyle?
I enjoy it. I think I'm good at like moving slow and kind of like wasting time. Like if you plan out your day and just do everything at the start and then you sit here doing nothing, then you're going to be bored. But I kind of like stagger things out. So I don't know. I just don't get bored for some reason. I just entertain myself maybe. But
that's cool. I'm gonna have to check out this show you're telling me about. Yeah. Have you seen that Aaron Hernandez one?
Is it
the NFL player?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it. I've seen it come up, but I haven't watched it.
Dude, you should watch it. Okay. It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
And what about Don't Fuck With Cats? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I watched that.
How dark is that, bro?
That's
a messed up one.
Yeah.
And we're talking about that. I ran out at Fernie yesterday with a mate, and mate, that's the opposite of what you would want to be thinking about when you're trying to get into that happy place. Man, so I want to get back to these pants. We've got about 10 more minutes, and then I'll. How's your head going? I warned you before.
As long as you need it, right?
Yeah, I was going to say to you because I've learnt the last couple of weeks that
it's actually gone quick. I can't believe we're already 43 minutes in. Yeah.
I'm glad it's like a good first date.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so funny, man. The podcasts are a funny thing as well because Like you always like I sort of know you. I say g'day when I see you at a race or whatever. But it's one of those things when you sit down for 45 minutes, you're like, mate, I hope this bloke doesn't think I'm a dickhead. And if he does, he's going to have to try and tough it out for an hour. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's always such a nice thing when you see 45 minutes and you're like, oh, we're flowing. We're good. So we're in a sweet little spot. I was going to ask you a little bit more about your recovery, and I forgot earlier. Yeah. So these pants, what did you say they're called again?
So the most like known brand is Normatec.
Okay.
So yeah, pretty much you put them on, just like normal pants, and then you press the setting and they blow up with air, and they will just go like really tight. Like it even points where it kind of like hurts, and it's just, I guess it's like making a kind of flushing the blood or like toxins out of your legs, and it goes through like different kind of sequences and stuff like that.
Yeah, do you do ice baths and things like that?
Yeah, a little bit. Not I hate doing it. I hate doing it Falls Creek. So I kind of started. I started spreading this rumor that I read these things that it doesn't work, and then I reckon people stop doing it and they go on with it. So they're trying to like see where that research is from, but it's just from me.
So you're just chucking stuff out there on social media. It's so good. Now every coach in Australia is going to know we're getting back into that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you'll be getting a call from Nick this afternoon going, mate, I didn't realise.
No, I did read something that I do believe if your body can recover itself, it's going to get more training benefit than if you help it. Like I said, with ice bath or like protein and stuff like that. But obviously your body needs some of those things. So like I do take protein shakes and stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you use supplements and things like that as well?
No, so like I've got like that Masashi protein up there. And then in my marathon, like obviously the morning drink that I have and gels.
Yeah, I've got to ask you about this a little bit more. Yeah.
But apart from that, like iron tablets when I'm at altitude, but I'm one of the minimal ones. Like a lot of other people take a lot of more vitamins and stuff than I do.
It seems to be a theme. Like I feel like the more athletes that I speak to who say they've got like a really simple approach, I swear there's some, I don't know if there's studies done, but I swear there's something about just that simplicity approach for distance running, because it can be, like it is an all-encompassing sport, and it's got a reputation for like attracting those who are a little bit obsessive compulsive. That maybe it just goes hand in hand, that there's like a million things to worry about. But it does seem interesting to me that both yourself and Stewie and like a number of the athletes that I've spoken to seem just to be able to just create a little bit of space and distance and just keep it simple.
Yeah, I say I'm different to a lot. I think Stewie's different to a lot as well, where we're a lot more relaxed and just, I don't know, wanting to be happy and running like happy and not stressing and not worrying about things that are out of our control. I think that's why we're both running well at the moment. Yeah,
is that something that you've worked on? Like, have you done certain things?
I think it's a bit just my nature as well, that I'm just kind of a bit laid back and just don't have like huge emotions and stuff like that. So it kind of helps like that. But yeah, everyone's different, I guess, as well, how they approach it. Because like I know other people like they don't even understand how like I could eat KFC and not stress about it. Like where other people feel guilty. Where so like everyone's got their own way. Some people think my way is wrong. I think other people's way is wrong.
My wife's like that. Like she's so in terms of just having stable emotions. Like I can say what I want, and so she's pregnant at the moment, and I've been giving her such a hard time. And so many listeners will hate this, but it's okay because we're joking. But Jessie, like she's like 15 or 16 weeks pregnant now, so she's got a good little tummy. And I've been going to her, I was like, babe, it's so weird being married to a fat chick. And it's like, it's me playing with fire. It's like, I'm pregnant, you dickhead. Like, what are you going to do about it? It's like, I get more emotional at the fact that I'm saying it. But dude, it's the same. She's the most relaxed person you'll ever find. Yeah. And there's some, I think it can be trained. Like I think it's something that people who might not feel as though they're naturally that way, which I'd probably put myself in that category. I probably overthink things too much, but dude, like since I was 20, the amount that stresses me, I'd probably say I'm a lot closer to where you are than what I was back then. So like, and this meditation talk is so hot in sort of Australia or all around the Western world at the moment that I think people are starting to see the benefits of just controlling that kind of emotion. But man, before we do wrap it up, you mentioned that high altitude training before. Is that a pretty significant part of the training that you do?
Yeah, it is. I've done a lot of it. I don't think it's the be all and end all though. Yeah. When you look at Stewie and I the last few months, like he broke the 10K Australian record, and then I broke the half marathon record, and then he ran a crazy race at Melbourne Track Classic over 5K, and that's all from training in Melbourne. We hadn't been at altitude for 6 months.
Yeah.
So I do. It is good where you get away and you just do focus on training and like you're away from distractions a little bit. But then again, I think like we're professional sports athletes, so we're supposed to be focused on training wherever we are. So like I still get all the training done when I'm in Melbourne. So not that much changes when I do go to altitude. I am like, I think I don't have to go, but it is good to get there as well.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, that community sort of vibe, like it's so crazy to see. I think you guys sort of lit the fire a little bit as well in terms of that's probably a terrible analogy to use right now based on the fact that it's just bloody ripped through there. You've sort of sparked the interest, I should say, in the Falls Creek training camps. Like I remember I went there in 2005 with, do you know Ryan Jackson?
Yep.
Yeah, so I went up there with I met him there actually, and I reckon there was 8 of us up there, and I see some of the posts.
Oh, now there's like 300 or maybe even more on some runs. It's like, it's crazy. It's like, I think we had to do some sessions where we actually trained half an hour earlier just because there was too many people on the track, so we had to kind of split it up a little bit. But yeah, it is great, I reckon, seeing all those people getting up there and chasing fitness and improving themselves.
Yeah, how do you find the just the attention that you get down at the track now? Like when you were, I don't know if you were like me, but when I was a kid, if I saw like a Mottram or something, I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's great. Or even Steve Monaghetti or the people who are in the older generations. But I've been around you and seen you at the track a few times with like a couple of kids just sort of hovering around, and you can tell they're like, I just want to go on. But how do you start that conversation? Is that something that you've had to adjust to, or you seem like a pretty approachable?
Yeah.
Guy, do you know what I mean?
I think I'm very approachable, and so I'm happy for anyone to come up and I'll speak to them, whatever. But I think that's a good thing about Falls Creek is that you have access to elite athletes, and you can do an easy run, and like I could be running with kids I don't know and speak to them there, and I think every kid should, if they want to ask questions, go up and ask, because there's tools there to be used, so you use them. Yeah,
it makes sense. That's what I was sort of thinking. So I mentioned to you this, I put together like a little membership for the Relax Runners, and part of that is, man, there's so much wisdom out there in terms of like what you have to share, and Stu and Jen and Ryan, and that when I was a kid, or even like, man, when I was an adult, like I would have loved to have been able to approach someone like yourself and go, mate, like what would you recommend I do in this situation? Yeah. So I'm just trying to create like a bit of a library where it's like, all right, you log on and you've got people like yourself just being super clear about your experiences, and not saying it's black and white, like this is 100% the only answer, but just at least it's interesting to be able to hear the thought processes of like Olympians and Aussie record holders and things like that.
Yeah.
But who were the sort of go-to blokes for you growing up?
Yeah, so I reckon I've been pretty lucky where I had I was living with Collis and Grego, who were became some of my best mates, and I was also looking up to them as well, and they were like excelling at the time. So I was lucky where I had those people to speak to, living in the same, like eating dinner with them. So that was like a very good thing for me. But and even before I lived with Grego, like he was still like a very good mate of mine. But it was weird because he was like 1 year older than me. So but he's Australian record holder as well. So it's like, so I always had that person to speak to. But before that, I would say Marty Dent helped me a lot. He kind of even when I was 15, he would like kind of speak to me at the track, and I would like do some runs with him and stuff like that. So he
made the biggest calves in distance running.
Big. He was like deep, like big legs on him. So
I roomed with him one day in Tassie, I think, and mate, that was the first time I saw his calves. Like he just walked to the front door. I was like, oh, mate, this bloke will kick the shit out of me.
No, he was good, and he was just like, I don't know. I reckon I learned a lot from him. Like he was just a tough guy who just would smash runs and smash races. Like I think if you were racing him, you knew it was going to be a tough race as well.
Yeah, cool, man. What is he doing these days?
I know he does like a lot of orienteering and stuff now. But like obviously he's living in Canberra and working. as a public servant, I'm pretty sure still. So I actually haven't seen him in a few years.
Yeah. Okay. Man, well, we'll keep recording. We're going to do a little marathon special. I reckon if you're happy to go ahead with that. So if you guys want to get your hands on some marathon advice, we're going to do a bonus podcast. Relaxrunning.com. Just click on membership. It's $5 a month at the moment. So we're just doing like a little bit added features.
Easy.
So, all right. Thanks, brother. We'll leave this one here and jump over to the next one.